Imagine you own a stock worth 100. You're terrified it might crash. So you make a deal with someone and you say, hey, if my stock falls below 90, will you agree to buy it from me at 90? That someone might say, yeah, sure, but you have to pay a small fee for that protection. And you agree. Congratulations. You've just uncovered something that connects stock options, stop-loss orders, and even insurance. So today we're talking about options, what they are and what they're for, why they're surprisingly similar to stop losses and even reinsurance. Most importantly, we'll also talk about the Black Scholes Option Pricing model for call options and how they're surprisingly related to reinsurance concepts. Stick around till the end, you'll be surprised by this. What is an option? An option is a contract. It gives someone the right, but not the obligation to buy or sell something at a specific price before a certain date. There are two main types. Call option. A call option gives you the right to buy a stock at a particular price. People buy calls when they think prices will go up. Put option. A put option gives you the right to sell a stock at a particular price. People buy puts when they think prices might go down. A simple example. Suppose a stock is trading at 100. You buy a put option that lets you sell the stock at 90. That means if the stock crashes to 50, you can still sell at 90. But if the stock rises to 150, you ignore the option and enjoy the gains. So the option acts like protection, just like insurance. And just like insurance, you pay a small upfront fee called the premium. In exchange, someone else agrees to absorb part of your risk. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? Because that's basically what we discussed before under stop loss and insurance. Think about car insurance. You must pay regular premiums. Most of the time, nothing happens. But if disaster strikes, the insurer absorbs part of the loss. Options work similarly. The option seller collects premiums. The option buyer gets protection. In finance, people sometimes even call put options portfolio insurance. Now, how is this related to stop-loss orders? Well, a stop-loss order is simpler. It's an instruction that if my stock falls below a certain price, automatically sell it. For example, buy stock at 100, set stop-loss at 90. If the price falls to 90, your shares are ordered sold automatically. The goal is similar to put options to limit losses, but there's a big difference. Stop-loss order is not guaranteed. An order is issued, but your stock could sell at 80 by the time the order is executed, or even lower. But with a put option, the contract itself guarantees the right to sell at the agreed upon price. That protection is stronger, but it also costs money upfront. So, stop-loss orders for stocks are cheaper, but less reliable. Put options are more expensive, but more certain, just like insurance. Now, here's the biggest trick to understanding options. Think reinsurance. Remember that in our previous video, we talked about reinsurance, how an insurer offloads all losses above a cutoff, and how to price that reinsurance contract conceptually. We said the price of the premium is the mathematical expectations of all losses above a cutoff. Let's call it cutoff K. Mathematically, we showed the following last time in an example where the cutoff K was equal to 50 as follows. Now, instead of payouts or losses being reinsured, now think of stock prices above a cutoff K. If stock prices were discrete, the formula would have been something like this, using the discrete summation sign. However, stock prices are continuous and we need to take all the stock prices above K. So making the adjustments, this becomes this formula. It's exactly the same as before, but what does this formula tell us? This is the mathematical expectation of all stock prices above K minus K. However, this is the premium at maturity of the contract, so we need to take the present value of the mathematical expectation to bring it to the present. Here, we will use continuous compounding to do so, and we have the following formula. It's the same as before, except now we have a present value factor, where g of x is the probability distribution, r is the risk-free rate of return, and T is the time to maturity of the contract. It can be shown that under given assumptions, this is equal to the famous Black Scholes call option pricing model. And here's the formula where ND would be the cumulative standard normal distribution with two different inputs D1 and D2. And for this, I refer you to Callison's Theory of Interest, a very good book where he discusses this. We shall deep dive about this in the next video, as we want to keep this video as simple as possible. It suffices to say that the Black Scholes model price can be thought of as the premium, analogous to the reinsurance premium, and it's nothing more but the present value of the mathematical expectations of all stock prices above K subtracted by K, the cutoff. That is, we're taking the mathematical expectations of all the differentials above K, where K is formerly known as the exercise price or the strike price in option pricing parlance. Now, how to think of option pricing? Let's say the current price of a stock you own is 30. Somebody offers to buy it from you in a month's time at 35. You start to model the path of prices of the stock from 30 right now, and in the future, 35 could be one of the potential prices, but so are 40, even 45, and so are a whole lot of other numbers. So what's the price you're willing to be paid if the buyer is offering 35 for it at maturity? It should be apparent to you that you should be compensated for all the prices above 35 because the stock price could be higher than 35. So how do you do that? Simple. Get the mathematical expectations of the differentials above 35 so that along with the 35 you will be paid for the stock, you are also compensated for all the differential prices above 35 via the premium. See how similar it is to reinsurance? However, we're not yet done. Remember that it's still in a month's time. So you need to get the present value. And voila, that's the price of the option in conceptual terms. Simple and clean, approached from the point of view of mathematical expectations rather than the usual physics approach and stochastic equations you see in most books when talking about the Black Scholes model. Now, what are the inputs to the Black Scholes option pricing model? That equation really looks scary, but fear not. You don't need to work out the equation yourself since there's a lot of software solutions out there and spreadsheets that do this for you. In fact, if you don't have one, please feel free to use the QuantProf Options spreadsheet we are providing. Check below and see the video description for the details, especially how to enable the macros properly after download. Now, there are only 5 inputs needed to get the price of the call or the put. The current stock price S, the strike price or exercise price, which is the K in the model, the time to maturity of the option contract, measured normally in fractions of a year, the volatility, and the risk-free rate of return. What follows is a quick clip on the QuantProf Options spreadsheet, which gives the price of a call or a put option. Just review the cells containing the call or put price, and you press on FX in the formula input if you like to review the inputs required for the cell. Easy peasy. The big lesson. Finance often looks complicated because the vocabulary changes, but many financial ideas are really variations of the same basic concept. Options, stop losses, and reinsurance, they're all answers to that question. They're all part of the same business, the business of managing financial risk, offloading risks, or getting compensated for taking on risks, etc. In our next video, we shall discuss more about options and the technical details of the Black Scholes model. But for now, think of the price of the call option as embodying all the expected differential stock prices above K in the future, multiplied by their probabilities, then getting the present value. That is the price of the call option in the Black Scholes universe. Well, that's all for now, and kindly like and subscribe to support the channel. See you next time!